Hey, it's Devin, your health coach, back to help you along your journey to optimal wellness. So, today I wanted to share with you the 5 steps on how you can drastically reduce bloating systematically. All right, so if you want to learn more about how to reduce bloat systematically, keep watching. So, I broke this down into 5 steps, and I'm going to start with step number 1. So the first step is to find out what your food trigger is. So food is not necessarily a fundamental or root cause of bloating and distension and digestive issues, but it can trigger those things. It can be triggered by some things. So you want to start off by finding out what your trigger is, and the best way to do this is to keep a food diary. So one of the things that I give out as a top homework assignment to everyone in my new 90-day fat loss accelerator program is to pay attention to what their body is telling them and to keep that food diary so that they can better know and better hone into the wisdom of their body. So we accomplish this with food diaries to find out and to really listen to your body and determine what your body loves, what your body doesn't really love, and to find out what those triggers for bloating is, because you really have to tune in and pay attention, because a lot of what we eat, it's all mixed up. It's got several ingredients, so it takes a little bit of effort, and it doesn't take a long time, but it just takes you being systematic to find out what your food trigger is. So that's step number 1, to know what your trigger is, to know what you are sensitive to. And so once you know that, you can move on to step number 2, and you can start replacing those popular processed packaged foods, those fast foods, those carbonated drinks, those simple carbs that's in your diet that may be exacerbating the issue. So those foods that are high in sugar, those foods that are high in saturated fat, that include corn syrup and those sugar alcohols and things like that. And then you can start implementing more real food, more whole food, and more complex carbs into what you're eating. So things like whole grains, fruits, and vegetables that don't trigger your bloat. And then once you do that, once you know what your trigger is, and then you start to hone into that and replace those with more whole foods and what to eat, then you'll start to go to step 3, which is how you can be eating. So you might want to slow down. You might notice that you eat really fast, or you might notice that you eat really large meals, and those might be issues for you. So you're eating really fast, you're taking in a lot of air, or you are eating too much for your stomach in one sitting. And you can experiment with eating more slowly and then eating smaller, possibly more frequent meals, and that might help your bloating issues. And so the next step is then to target your microbiome. So we all have something called gut health, or a microbiome that is made up of good bacteria and bad bacteria. And our bacteria has been altered over time with just the way we live. So if you've ever taken an antibiotic, your gut microbiome has been altered. If you continue to be under a high amounts of stress, your gut microbiome is altered. If you don't get enough sleep, that alters your microbiome as well. And just the way we eat, eating highly processed food that's high in fat and sugar, that alters our microbiome as well. And so when that happens, that plays a part in how healthy our brain is, how healthy our heart is, how robust our immune system is, what our skin looks like, our weight fluctuations, our hormones, our ability to absorb nutrients. That all plays a factor based on what our gut health is. And so in order to focus on that and improve that, then we want to make those lifestyle changes. So stressing less, getting more sleep, eating better, which played a part in the previous steps. But you can also consider adding more prebiotics and probiotics into your diet. And you can do that with real food, cultured food like yogurt, or fermented food like real sauerkraut. And so for a long time, I thought sauerkraut was just, what comes in the bottle in the middle of the grocery store. But it turns out that's kind of dead. That's dead weight. That doesn't have any probiotics in it, because probiotics are alive. It's bacteria, good bacteria that can support your immune system. So if you want some real sauerkraut, you have to go to the cold food section and find the real sauerkraut that's still alive, that can still benefit your body. So incorporating foods like that can help your gut biome or your microbiome. But then you can also implement a prebiotic and probiotic supplement. And one of the bonuses of the 90-day fat loss accelerator program is a 30-day supply of the pre and probiotic that I personally use, because I definitely dealt with bloating and distension and things like that. So in that program, I include a bonus of the pre and probiotic that I use that has the 15 strains of pre and probiotics that support your gut health. Because when your gut health is supported, then that helps to increase that gut bacteria and reduce the bloating. And then the fifth step to reduce bloat systematically is to approach your doctor. So we want to find out what the root cause is. And so approaching your doctor is not necessarily the last step. This is something that you can include throughout this process, at the beginning of this process, because you want to determine, maybe you suffer from irritable bowel syndrome, and those things are on the rise in irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel syndrome, GERD, food sensitivities can all play a part in the root cause of your bloating issue. And it's interesting that 75% of the world is lactose intolerant, but you would never think that by the amount of dairy products that we consume. But 75% of us have a hard time digesting that. So getting to the root cause of your issues is going to be an important thing to find out if you have any food sensitivities or any underlying digestive issues that you want and need to get treatment for. And then you layer on the things such as finding out what your food trigger is with a food diary. You layer on increasing your whole food consumption and decreasing the processed food, the fast food, and all those high sugar, high fat, high salt foods. And then you also would layer on the lifestyle, so managing your stress and getting enough sleep and adding pre and probiotics to your daily routine. So those are the 5 ways that you can reduce bloat systematically. And if you haven't claimed your free Break the Cycle Discovery Call, I invite you to do that. The link is in the description. And on that call, we come up with your daily action plan to help you reach your health goals, to help you reduce bloat, to help you get more energy, to help you feel better in your skin, feel better in your clothes. And so if you haven't claimed that, go ahead and do that now. So all the best to you. Let me know if these 5 steps to reduce bloat helped you and what you'd like to hear from me next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.